Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is the Healthy Moving Podcast, the show all about helping you to exercise less, but move more so that you will feel better. I am your healthy moving enthusiast, Jen Hoffman of stayathomeyoga.com. Today, we're talking about before and after pictures. They are commonly used in the health and fitness industry. Do you love them? Or do you feel like they're a psychological tool used to manipulate you? I'll give you my thoughts in just a little bit. Plus, I'm answering a fantastic listener question about tight hamstrings. Most people have them, so you'll want to make sure you listen in. It's going to be a great show. Let's get started. So I'll tell you right from the top. I have a moral opposition to before and after photos. And it's not just because they're usually photoshopped. That fact definitely bothers me. But my problem is with the message they send. They place far too much significance on appearances, which we all know tell us very little about how a person is feeling. I think they cause people to crave looking different and don't teach people about the importance of feeling differently. See, I'm inspired by story. I want to hear from the person in the picture. I want to ask them questions. Do you have more energy? Are you sleeping better at night? How about that knee that always bothered you? Is it feeling better? I don't care how you look. I care how you feel. I want to hear that you, every part of you, feels amazing. And I want others to care about that story too. So, because of my own desire to not feed this machine that values and places so much significance on appearances, I've never widely shared my own before and after pictures. Now, I say widely shared because about halfway through the last challenge that I coached, I posted some of my own before pictures in our group's private Facebook page. Of course, I told them all my story as well, and I wasn't selling anything. These folks already have lifetime access to all my classes. I simply wanted to inspire them. Well, a few of them reached out to me after I shared those pictures, and they put a challenge to me. Yes, the students became the teachers. They told me that I needed to share my own healthy moving story more publicly. Well, what better way to do that than with a podcast? I have your ear right now, not your eye. So I'll tell you, about 7 years ago, my own health was a mess. I was working more than full-time, really, as a tax director for a public accounting firm. Plus, I was also running a yoga studio that my husband and I owned. I was teaching 6 yoga classes a week, plus doing my own home practice. I was no couch potato. But I was weary. I was exhausted. I caught every bug that was going around. I was sick all the time. I couldn't walk long distances because I had pain in my ankle and leg from a childhood accident, and I had fertility issues. I was stressed. I felt like I was on a roller coaster that I couldn't get off of. I made so many New Year's resolutions during that season of my life to change, but I always ended the year further downhill. And then, a little over 5 years ago, after my first daughter was born, I discovered biomechanics. It was a major turning point for me. Not only did this science help me understand exactly why some yoga poses are wonderful and others not so much, it helped me to think outside the box. The workout box, that is. I began to stop trying to get workouts in, and I started to weave healthy movement into the fabric of my days. And I started to feel amazing. My chronic ankle pain was resolved. I was sleeping better. My immune system began to strengthen. I found my joy again. And yes, I lost about 60 pounds and my appearance changed. But friends, that's the subplot, not the main story. I'll put some pictures in the show notes for episode 4 at healthymovingpodcast.com, but focus on my eyes, friends. See the weary in my eyes in the before pictures and the vitality in the afters. That is the real story. If the way you're getting your movement nutrients in every day makes you, all of you, every part of your body, mind, and spirit feel amazing, then keep at it. That's wonderful. But if not, if you're ready to make some real, lasting change in the new year, and you'd like some support and encouragement along the way, head over to stayathomeyoga.com/support and join me for the next challenge group. Early registration is available until December 31st, so hurry up if you want to get that discount. Okay, friends, I'll be back in just a moment to talk tight hamstrings. Today's question comes to us from Sarah in Alberta, Canada.
Hi, Jen. My question is about my hamstrings. They are unbelievably tight. Despite my best efforts to remember to stretch them regularly, I just don't seem to make much progress. They stiffen right up again. I'm wondering what daily motions or activities might be causing this and what I can do to prevent continual tightening. Thanks.
Sarah, when I saw your question, I have to admit, I stood up and started waving my hands in the air and dancing. I was really excited. Not because you have tight hamstrings. I know that's uncomfortable, and I'm going to give you some help for that in just a second, I promise. But the thing that got me really excited about your question is that you are beginning to see something powerful. That is that your body, including your hamstrings, your body is shaped by how you move and the positions you're in when you're not moving all the time. We can't just do a couple of hamstring stretches here and there and then spend the rest of our day in positions and moving around in ways that causes the hamstrings to tighten and expect to see a lasting change. And we want our hamstrings to be long, friends. There are a whole host of problems that come from tight hamstrings, not the least of which are back pains, pelvic floor disorder, even core dysfunction can be related to tight hamstrings. So we want the hamstrings to be long. There's 2 things that many people do all the time that can contribute to this continual tightening in the hamstrings. The first thing I want you to do, Sarah, is take a look at your shoes. Do your shoes have an elevated heel? Gentlemen, this applies to you as well. Almost every pair of shoes I see have an elevated heel on both men and women. This even includes most athletic shoes. That elevated heel positions your leg in such a way that your hamstrings tighten all the time that you are wearing them. Now, if you're walking around most of the time in a 4-inch heel, I wouldn't recommend going to buy your first pair of barefoot shoes and immediately eliminating all heel. You want it to be a gradual process. Take a look at the heel you're wearing now and incrementally over the course of a couple of months, slowly begin to decrease that. Spending more time barefoot is also a great way, but you need to be careful as your body has adjusted to the height you're wearing now. And asking it to go all the way down to nothing is kind of like deciding to run a marathon tomorrow after never having trained for it. You need to train for the barefoot position. Now, the second thing is what's going on up higher at the pelvis, specifically having the tailbone tucked under. That position also creates a continual tightening in the hamstrings. So you want to start to begin to be aware of your pelvic position all day long. Remember, a neutral pelvis is when the pubic symphysis and the ASIS are in a vertical plane. You want to try to find that position all day long. That'll help with the continual tightening. Now, you can certainly become aware of that position, and I'll include some stay-at-home yoga videos in the show notes for episode 4 at healthymovingpodcast.com that you can look at to try to see where is neutral for the pelvis. But there's a muscle that's often responsible for this tucked position, and that is the psoas. So learning to turn off the psoas, to get it to release, will oftentimes help you to more naturally rest in that optimal pelvic alignment all day long. So you'll also want to start to familiarize yourself with the psoas and with exactly how to release it. And again, I'll put some videos for you in the show notes that you can use to work with that. But check out those two things. Are you walking around and sitting all the time with a tucked tailbone? And are you wearing shoes with a heel? And keep at your hamstring stretching, and I'm sure you will find significant progress in no time at all. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this helpful, make sure you head on over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and review. And you can find the show notes and links to join me for a free live class each month over at healthymovingpodcast.com. If you have a question you'd like me to answer on air or feedback you'd like to give for the show, I'd love to hear from you. Call me at 208-580-MOVE, or you can click the Leave Me a Message link in the show notes. And help spread the word about our Healthy Moving Revolution by telling your friends and family about the show. We have Facebook and Twitter links over on the site to make spreading the word a breeze for you. Until next week, friends, keep moving.
Hi, Jen. This is Carly. I live near Seattle in Washington State. I've given up the gym membership, partially because I rarely used it, but also partially because it just didn't feel like it was doing me any good when I did. So, I do really appreciate the work that you do and the information that you bring, and I hope you'll just keep doing it. I will certainly keep subscribing. Thanks for everything, and Merry Christmas. Bye.